Okay, the other day I was in Birmingham, and this was a moment of clarity, so to speak. So I'm driving around Birmingham, and this city has some great views in terms of nature. The Cahaba Wildlife Refuge is gorgeous. Red Mountain and Shades Mountain, beautiful. The weather is great. But generally speaking, the crime, the poverty, just so much about the city is disgusting. A lot of the people are just complete degenerates and not a great place to be. But I stopped at one point and I stopped and see a woman crossing the street and she's in all these great clothes and she's in an area where people throw their money at gift shops and TV and pizza and all this ridiculous stuff. And I think to myself about ad revenue. And I think to myself that how ads are everywhere on the internet. Above articles, below them, beside them. You get the email lists. But I pull up. I'm at the stoplight and I'm watching this girl. She's got all her stuff. She's got nice clothes. She's got a bag. She's shopping. And I'm thinking about all the advertisement money that just clicks on at the same moment. And I think to myself, all the money that gets poured into television, to websites. You can look at Fox News and what a enormous enterprise that is. Why is that? Why can they afford everything? Because the commercials. Almost all of television is based around commercials and getting people to watch advertisements. And I'm just thinking that is the neoliberal society. That is, whenever you hear libertarians talking or true conservatives talking, this is essentially what they want. They want our lives to be that we work every day of our lives, we toil endlessly on meaningless tasks, we get this paper money, we go home, we consume this propaganda which is filled with this social agenda, this Marxist ideology. We watch advertisements to get us to buy stuff. We go out and we spend the money we work for on manufactured goods or commodities that keep getting expensive. And I think it's the cycle that these people seek to perpetuate. This is their idea of individual liberty. This is their idea of constitutional liberty. This is their idea of traditional values and conservatism. I just thought, what a broken system, right? I know it's easy to criticize such a basic thing to talk about, but I think most people do not really understand just how much money is poured into advertisements and how much the system would come tumbling down if people just stop buying crap, right? You see the lines going around the block for the Nokia 3210, which is not much better than the last three Nokias. And you see people shopping for clothes. I haven't bought a new article of clothing in months, maybe years. Myself personally, and I'm doing just fine. But you see people throwing money at coffee and clothes and electronics and games. And a big part of that is the advertisements. And I just thought, is this what we want our country to look like? Is this what we value? I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't like all the purchasing and all the... People just need to save their money. I did a little research the other day on all the debt that people have. And you look at the average net worth of people by age, that's the ticket. It's not average debt or average net worth in totality because that factors in older people who have been saving for decades. And people who have worked to pay off mortgages and car payments so they have wealth over time. But if you look at young people and you look at how much debt these people hold in terms of credit card debt, in terms of mortgage debt, in terms of if they're paying rent or pay for their car or something, and how little they have in savings or how little they actually have in assets, you really get an idea of where we're headed and what kind of society these people in high positions are trying to cultivate. You know, you have all the pundits who have no shortage of conspiracy theories about what's going on, but you see the trends. You see the economic trends, you see the demographic trends, and what they are conspiring to create is a disassociated consumer class of people that work, and they never own anything, and they never get out of poverty, and they just work. It's an endless cycle of working and trading it in, working and trading it in. And for what? So we can eat $15 hamburgers, right? We can take $500 luxury cruise ships. That's the lowball estimate. It's probably more like $2,000. Just a little reformist thing there, some ideological posting. And another thing is, it's not all ethnic. A large part of it is ethnic, don't get me wrong. And that's important. And we have to get that message out because people are not aware of it. I talk about it all the time. The talk about immigrants is always, I'm not racist, but. Or the problem is they take advantage of the system. They come here and they go on welfare. And it didn't used to be this way. Yeah, well, it also didn't used to be all Mexicans and Chinese, and it was mostly Europeans and Africans. But that's a big part of it, is getting people to think differently about ethnicity. And maybe it's just sufficient to say we don't want them and we don't need a reason. But beyond ethnicity, there is this question of there are fundamental things going wrong in our society that people are not paying attention to in this movement that are not rectified by immigration policy, unfortunately. And that's a big part of it, and we won't have a chance to address those problems if we don't take care of immigration policy, but those things are there, and they have to be addressed.